Institute on Religious Life presents Vocation Harvest.
Hello, I am Sister Mary Bosco from the Sisters of St. Francis of Perpetual Adoration in Mishawaka, Indiana. I first felt God's invitation to the religious life when I was in second grade, actually preparing for First Holy Communion. As I learned more about God, I fell in love with Him, and as I learned that how He gave His all for me, I couldn't think of any way of responding but giving my all to Him in return. But I kept thinking, well, how can I do this? How do I do that? Well, sisters, they love Jesus, right? I don't know what else they do. I've never seen one in the flesh before. But I know they love Jesus with all their heart, and that is what I feel called to do. I feel God has touched my heart in this way. So second grade was when God first really invited me. And so as grade school and high school came and went, the call to religious life was always there on the back burner of my mind. And I'd always dreamed of adventure, doing God's will, but for adventure for me for a while was like traveling all over the world, and so that was my main focus for a number of years. However, in high school, I felt a call to claim the faith for my own too. Was I just imitating my parents? So I went back to square one and learned about God, read Thomas Aquinas, some of St. Augustine, and realized, yes, this is the truth. But then I was confused on how do I incorporate this into society? How do I bring Jesus to society? Because people just seem miserable, and I don't understand why. So you might ask, well, why didn't you read the lives of the saints? So I thought, well, they seem kind of boring. They just sit there and pray all day. And so I didn't understand. But then God touched my heart in a very unexpected way. Believe it or not, He touched me through the Sherlock Holmes adventures. Because I read those and was just so impressed by the virtue I found and the joy in the characters. And I thought, I need this. What is this? I'm called to live something similar to this. I was like, oh, it's the joy of Christ and being Christ as our focus. And so then I picked up the lives of the saints. And I came to realize the beauty of perpetual adoration. Adoration had a lot to do with my discernment. I would go to the chapel and contemplate the Annunciation. Well, if Mary said yes to God's will, she can help me say yes to His will also. And one line that stuck out to me from Sherlock Holmes was how beautiful reality it is, how uncommon it is, how uncommon the commonplace is. And I thought that's like the Eucharist. Because who could imagine Christ coming to us in the Incarnation and then staying with us during our lives in the Eucharist, in the tabernacles? And yet it's commonplace because it's all over the world. So I felt the Eucharist is the uncommon commonplace, and we're meant to be the same, to take Jesus to others after being in adoration. And so God gave me the grace, and I have answered His invitation, and it has been a most beautiful adventure ever since, and it just keeps going and going.
For more information about the religious life, visit religiouslife.com.